meeting. We have two presenters today. Rich is here with us right now, and hopefully our other presenter will join us later, as well as our student of the month from North Salem High School. Before we get going, I wanted to observe a moment of silence. I believe everybody knows that Bud Kiefer passed away last week. If you don't, it's a very lovely honor to him, the write-up, his obituary. So if you have a moment to take a look at that and haven't seen it, you likely would like to take a look at that. Bud was a long time and very valued board member. So just a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you. With that, Jessica, if we could do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Rabbi Eli, are you with us for the invocation and words of inspiration?
I am here, yes.
All right. I'd like to hand it off to you then.
Okay. So apparently I closed it. Hold on. I have to pull it right back up. So in lieu of the meeting today about our forests, I wanted to share a poem by Wendell Berry as our invocation. And he says, "Another Sunday morning comes, and I resume the standing Sabbath of the woods, where the finest blooms of time return, and where no path is worn, but wears its makers out at last, and disappears in leaves of fallen seasons. The tracked rut fills and levels. Here nothing grieves in the risen season. Past life lives in the living. Resurrection is in the way each maple leaf commemorates its kind, by connection, outreaching understanding. What rises, rises into comprehension and beyond. Even falling raises in praise of light. What is begun is unfinished, and so the mind that comes to rest among the bluebells comes to rest in motion, refined by alteration. The bud swells, opens, makes seeds, falls is well, becoming what is, miracle and parable exceeding thought, because it is immeasurable. The understander encloses understanding, thus darkens the night. We can stand under no ray that is not dimmed by us. The mind that comes to rest is tended in ways that it cannot intend, is born, preserved, and comprehended by what it cannot comprehend. Your Sabbath keeps us by your will, not ours, and it is fit. Our only choice should be to die into that rest or out of it.
Thank you, Rabbi Eli. You always bring wonderful words to us. I appreciate it very much. I'd like to. Oh, thank you, Richard, for putting Bud's obituary link in the chat room. I appreciate that. Next, I'd like to welcome our guests here today. And first off, I want to welcome Carla Munns with C-Suite Consulting. She was our presenter last week and will be joining us as she's available here the next couple months. So good to see you again, Carla. Thank you for coming. And then Brody, do we see your student yet, Brody?
Yes, Julio's here.
Okay, so Brody, if you'd introduce yourself, AD at North Salem High School, and introduce your student, and then a little bit later, I'll ask ask Julio to come up and speak.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
My name is Brody Cavile. I'm an assistant principal and also athletic director at North Salem High School, which I am very proud of as a 1998 alum of North Salem. Today with us is both Julio Ramirez and his coach, Andy Pickett. He will see in here as well. Julio's a senior for us, wrestler, three-year varsity wrestler. At least that's the plan, assuming we can get this season in. He has been at state twice, was in the top 8 last year, super good student, and is going to have, I think, an opportunity to wrestle next year. I'm hearing Clackamas up in Portland area, Clackamas Community College, to have a chance. If things change, then certainly we're excited for him either way, but we're excited to have Julio Ramirez with us.
Terrific. Thank you, Brody. And again, Julio, I'll ask you up here in just a few minutes. We have a little bit of other business to do. So visiting Rotarian, we have Mary Louise Banata joining us today. And we always welcome Mary Louise joining. And she is acting as PR. She's volunteering as PR and communications lead for the Detroit Rebuild Coalition. So thank you, Mary Louise. It's always good to see you. All righty. Next off, we have Trisha Frizzell with our bell ringers. And this is Trisha's first time doing bell ringers, right?
Hello. Yes. I just need literally 60 seconds. Because I had a last minute bell ringer that I wanted to make sure I get in. So I'm just going to save it like this. So I'm going to share my screen. If I am that cool to figure this out. Alrighty, here we go. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
All right, so let's see if it will start the slideshow. There we go. Oh.
Oh, your goats.
Yes. And I apologize. I'm working from home, and so I'm not sure how to do this. Jessica, you have my slides. Are you able to pop those up?
Yeah, I'll have to download those. Why don't you go ahead and keep trying, and I'll let you know if I.
Well, the downside is that I'm working from home and I don't have my really cool 2 screens, so I can't bring up the bell ringers and also share these awesome goats. So what I'll do while Jessica's doing that is I will stop sharing my screen so I can read you guys the awesome bell ringers, and then afterwards I'll just have to show you pictures of the goats because they'll make your day much brighter. And a good friend told me, whether it's true or not, but I would say it's true, is that there's good evidence and research that says looking at pictures of baby animals actually helps with your mental health and your perspective. And so I definitely want to give you guys the opportunity to increase your mental health. / show really cute pictures of goats.
Very good.
So let me stop sharing.
I'll start, and I can pull up your slides now. Do you want me to start sharing them?
Sure.
Okay.
So we do have a handful of them that I'm happy to share. The first one is from Linda Wooters. While the misfortune of a broken ankle is no fun, Linda Wooters is ringing the bell with gratitude for kind people, good health care, and the blessing of health insurance. Nothing like a hiking accident on a Montana hill to change an outing. With complete strangers offer to help and her trusty partner, Michael, Linda made the slow trek back down the hill, followed by a trip to the ER. The good news is that the ankle is healing with the assist of crutches and a boot, and she's thankful that no surgery is necessary. The slightly bad news, or more like an inconvenience, is that she cannot drive for a few weeks, but this too shall pass. President Sue, please ring the bell for Linda Wooters. The next one is from Ken and Barry, and they are ringing the bell 6 times For the Rotary Club of Salem, an amazing branch and of Rotarians that get things done. You may have noticed on the front page of Tuesday's Statesman Journal that this club has stepped up with incredible generosity, contributing more than $1 million to help reach the $4 million goal for the amphitheater. So that's one bell. The second bell, as the Statesman article showed, the first perimeter arch for the amphitheater was eased into place Monday morning. The second arch went up Tuesday, and it's looking absolutely beautiful. That's two more bells. Finally, we're ringing the bell for all of our club members who have stepped up with their time and talent to share the lift of bringing the amphitheater project to reality for our community. Thank you to everyone who is giving so much to get us this far. 3 more bells. So 6 total from Ken and Barry.
There you go.
Awesome. I feel like we need to get like a gong. We need a big resounding bell. I miss that sound from being together. Next one is Ron Kellerman is ringing the bell today for our late past president, Bud Kiefer, as mentioned by President Sue. Bud was our president in the 1992 to 1993 year, who conceived and promoted our club's Good Works project to provide a voicemail and answering service for the homeless and unemployed. He's a true gentleman, a Rotarian's Rotarian, a collaborator, a leader, a friend to all, and so much more. Thanks, Bud, for all the kindness and help you have shown me and countless others. Please ring the bell for Bud Kiefer. Finally, we have 2 bell ringers from Miss Allison Kelly. The first one is in honor of Rich Duncan, one of our presenters today, who is also the chair of the Liberty House Board of Directors and who has been an incredible mentor to Allison. These are Allison's words to you, Rich. Rich, you do so much for our community, seen by some, but a lot of it, what you do is behind the scenes. I really want to thank you for all the time and energy you share with our community, with Liberty House, and with me. President Sue, please ring the bell. And lastly, by Miss Allison, is a big thanks to the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce for giving her the Spirit of Salem Award at Monday's forum. She says this is incredibly humbling, and she's so grateful for the Chamber's work in promoting business because healthy business creates jobs, and jobs are key in helping lift families out of despair and work towards success. President Sue, please ring the bell for the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce.
Terrific. Thank you, everyone. Those were fun. Those were fun. Oh, did we get all the go pictures, Trish?
I don't know what you guys can see right now. I'll show you guys my screen real fast because I put these together with little quips for each of the bell ringers. So the first one is, come on, friends, let's raise some money for the foundation. That's our little goat, Dodo. And then Dodo, because that kid cannot find the bottle worth anything. Then a picture of Bud Kiefer. I apologize, I wasn't familiar with Kiefer, and so I read up a little bit on his past and his contribution to the community, and I'm very happy that we're able to celebrate him. This one was for Linda. Thank goodness for good friends that help us out in a time of need. This is a shout out for the amphitheater. That's little Birdo. They're about 2 weeks old. This one was for Miss Allison and Rich Duncan. These are my mama's cows last year. That's a little calf with her mama, and just saying that friends are the best. And then an invitation for others to ring the bell. This is Birdo in my kitchen, taking over the room there. So with that, is there anyone else that wants to ring the bell for today?
I think we have a couple that have joined. Renee has joined the bell ringer. Whoops. There's a couple folks in the chat that have joined in some of the bell ringers to honor Bud. and whatnot. So thank you all for joining in the bell ringers. Okay, thanks, Tricia. Appreciate it very much. Next, Teresa Lule let me know that she has an announcement to make. So Teresa, you want to share out about fellowship opportunity?
I do, and I have scheduled a fireside for next Wednesday, February 17th, 5:30. Of course, it will be via Zoom. And all red badgers, this is a requirement for your blue badge. Of course, all members and prospective members are welcome to join us. So please, I will send out the Zoom announcement probably early, either Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday next week. Or the Zoom meeting link. And so we're looking forward to having everyone join us. Obviously, since we're Zoom, just please bring your own wine and a little snack or cocktail of your choice. And we'll begin the meeting at 5:30 then. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa, very much. I'm looking forward to that. All righty, Julio, our winter athlete, are you ready to chat with us a little bit, share your story with us?
Yeah.
Great. It's all yours.
Hello, my name is Julio Ramirez, and I'm a senior at North Salem High School. During my time at North, I've accomplished a lot academically, leaving me the option to graduate early, and I've also accomplished a lot.
I lost his audio. Did everybody else hear him?
I can't hear him either.
Continue doing, and I did. That year, I also dabbled around with cross country a little bit, but I wasn't fast. And in my opinion, wrestling is like one of the few fair sports. And I say that because it's based on your weight. And in other sports, if you are naturally strong or fast or athletic in general, you have a huge advantage over everybody else. And I was none of the above. I was small and I was weak. But in wrestling, you don't need to be the biggest guy to win. You just need technique. Because with technique, you can beat the biggest, strongest guy in the room. And you can't be born with technique. You have to build it. You have to forge it. It's a long process, a very gruesome process. It takes a lot of heart, dedication, and time. That's what wrestling is all about, heart, dedication, and time. It's a very demanding sport, so you have to give it your all if you want to win. You get what you give. And this made me see wrestling as an opportunity to go to college, and an opportunity to prove myself and to others that I was capable of being good at something, capable of being able to dominate every opponent that was put in front of me, capable of feeling big and strong. It gave me a reason to show up to school and to get good grades and pass all my classes, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be able to compete. And that was my favorite part. Plus, the program at North was like a home away from home. I felt welcomed. I felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel out of place, and because of this, my goal was to be the best. And throughout my freshman and sophomore summer, I was going to club practices and working out on my own, kinda. I say kinda because I would only work out when I felt like it, and I would only go to practice twice a week. Clearly, I wasn't that dedicated, but I still tried, somewhat. And to my surprise, I made it to the state tournament my sophomore year. Barely. I placed fourth at my regional tournament, and only the top four would go to the state tournament. And at the state tournament, I lost 2 out of the 3 matches I had, and I was out. I wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed. But at the end of the day, I was happy. I was happy for my teammates that had placed and had won. I was happy I made it to state. I was happy I had the chance to compete, and it was an improvement. I went from not placing at all at the regional tournament to winning 1 match at the state tournament. I went from being on JV to being on varsity. I just saw improvement, and I knew I had to put more work in. I knew I had to give my all, and I was ready for it. During the summer, I bumped my training up to 10. I worked out with my brother, and I went to practice every day. My junior year, I wrestled at 113 pounds. It was a tough weight cut, but I was willing to do anything if it meant standing on the podium at state. I was doing good throughout the season. I started to win tournaments and started placing at tournaments. I was ranked top 10, placed 3rd at the regional tournament. But when it came to the state tournament, I fell short. I didn't even place, and I was devastated. thought about quitting for about 2 seconds, but I knew I put too much work in just to quit, and I wasn't raised a quitter. I love the sport too much. I knew I had to move on and keep moving forward. I made it to the second day this time, and I saw that as a big improvement. As long as I saw improvement, I was happy. I had hope. After the tournament, I was in the weight room every day, and I was at practice every day. I turned my training up to 100, no days off. I got rid of all my distractions. I made sure school wasn't getting in the way of my training. And then COVID happened. Oregon went into lockdown, and everything froze. But I did not let it get in the way. During the lockdown, I was working out and practicing with my older brother, who also wrestled at North and was an All-American. Once places started opening up, I would go on runs and work out at gym. I would always stay active. And over the summer, I got up to 145 pounds. I was more than happy with my results. And there was not one day that I wasn't thinking about working out. There wasn't one day that I wasn't thinking about being at the top of that podium. There was not one day that I wasn't thinking about my competition. I was dedicated. My heart was in the right place and had all the time in the world. But because of COVID, I was afraid. I was afraid that my senior year would be ripped away and all my hard work would be in vain. But I did not let that stop me. I had hope. Hope that I would have a chance to compete for that state title. Hope was the only thing that kept me going. And now it's my final year. There still hasn't been a season, but it hasn't stopped me. I went to a national tournament in December and I wrestled at 126 pounds. I won 3 out of the 5 matches I had, and I was 1 match away from placing at that tournament. I can tell my work is paying off, and I'm looking forward to another tournament coming up on the 25th. But now I'm not just wrestling for a title. I'm wrestling for a scholarship. I'm wrestling for my future education. I want wrestling to help me to get into college because it has benefited me academically throughout high school. It has taught me to have a growth mindset and has given me a good work ethic. And because of this, I've been able to get all of my credits early, and I've been able to prepare for college. Recently, I've gotten accepted to Clackamas Community College, which has a really good wrestling team. They're the best in their division, and I'm hoping to continue wrestling there, then transferring to Oregon State University and wrestling at the Division I level. And at the same time, I'll be working on getting my bachelor's in science and majoring in kinesiology. I know that's a really far-fetched goal for someone who hasn't even placed at state, but I like to aim high. I love challenges. I love proving people wrong. I love putting in the work because at the end of the day, after I get my hand raised and a medal around my neck, when I get handed my diploma, I won't be thinking about the reward itself. I'll be thinking about what it took to get there because the grind is what makes success feel so good. My name is Julio Ramirez, and I'm a wrestler at North Salem High School. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julio, so much. That was fantastic. Thank you. Your dedication to both your education and to your sport and to your future really shines through in what you just shared with us. And you are also an exceptional speaker. So keep that up too. It was very inspirational. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. In your honor, you'll be receiving a certificate as our Student of the Month with our Rotary Club, as well as a challenge coin that you can use to continue to challenge yourself to strive for excellence. So thank you again, Julio, for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So next we have 2 new members to induct. Tim Sinatra and Caitlin Beals, both with the YMCA. So what I'm going to start with, and I think everybody knows Tim's my old boss. So there we go, Caitlin. Thank you both for joining us and your interest in joining Rotary. So I'm going to start with reading your bios, and then I'm going to read the pledge and welcome you into the Rotary Club. I'm going to start with Tim. Tim Sinatra is the new CEO for the Family YMCA of Marion and Polk counties. Tim is a highly experienced nonprofit CEO, noted for innovation in programs to support youth, family, and community development, collaborating with community organizations to meet local, regional, and statewide needs, and bringing strategic focus, financial stability, and growth to organizations. Tim served as the Director of Organizational Development for the Oregon Department of Human Services for 3 years prior to joining the Y. And prior to that, he was the CEO of Elida Homes in Asheville, North Carolina, which provides services to children and families ranging from early learning to foster care to residential psychiatric treatment. Tim has spent 23 years with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, serving as CEO of organizations in California, Virginia, and here in Salem. During his time as the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Salem, Tim was named the Boys and Girls Club of America Western Regional Professional of the Year and served as the president of the Oregon State Alliance, which conducted state and federal lobbying efforts. He holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and a master's in business administration. And Tim lives here locally with his delightful wife, Christy. And then Caitlin Beals started at the Y in March of 2018 as the executive assistant to the CEO, working on the capital campaign. She moved into the chief administrative officer role in September of 2020. She came to the Y with a long history of nonprofit administration, working for Young Life in Salem and the Center for Family Development in Eugene. Caitlin holds a bachelor's degree from Western Oregon University. And Caitlin lives in Salem with her husband, Anderson, and her two dogs, Minerva and Marvolo. Is it Marvolo? Is that right? Very good. Very good.
Marvolo, yeah.
Marvolo. Okay. Thank you for that. So Tim and Kathy, through your membership in Rotary, Caitlin, I apologize. Tim and Caitlin, through your membership in Rotary, you can build lifelong friendships and join forces with like-minded people around the world who desire to make a difference in their communities. Our club is made up of leaders and potential leaders who are inspired by our motto, service above self. As Rotarians, we have all pledged to uphold the highest ethical standards, subscribe to the object of Rotary, and live by the four-way test. Regular attendance at our weekly meetings is an important part of your membership, but Rotary is much, much more than a lunch club or Zoom club. As you become more involved in the club, you'll begin to understand the power of Rotary through expanded friendships and involvement in your choice of many committees we have to offer. As you build those friendships and contribute to our impact here and around the world, you'll understand what it means to be a member of this club and one of the over 1.2 million Rotarians worldwide. We're a vibrant, action-oriented club, and as such, we expect you to roll up your sleeves and get involved. And we know that both of you, that's your plan of action in everything that you do. Therefore, Tim and Caitlin, as the newest members of our club, do you pledge to uphold the four-way test, to serve on at least 2 committees, and to contribute to the club in every way you can?
I do.
Thumbs up?
Yes.
Great. And fellow Rotarians, do you pledge to warmly welcome Tim and Caitlin into our club and offer them your full support in all that we do?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Hands up, thumbs up. So welcome Tim and Caitlin as our newest members of the Rotary Club of Salem. We're really looking forward to get to know you both much better and to work alongside you in the great work that we do. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. So that's exciting for Tim and Caitlin to join us. So I'm going to hand off to Linda Bednarz as our program chair to introduce our speakers. So Linda.
Hi. Okay, fellow presidents, soon fellow Rotarians, I'm glad to be here today. Welcome everybody. Unfortunately, Warren's had a phone call on the back, so I hope you don't hear him. Anyway, I'm very glad to give us the second of our series of updates regarding the Santiam Canyon wildfires. Today, we have 2 people who have been very actively involved in the recovery efforts up there. Melissa Bauer, it will be our first presenter. She has a Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology and Master's in Criminal Justice. And she has been working with Salem Santiam Hospital since May of 2017 as their Santiam Service Integration Coordinator and Community Liaison. In this role, she coordinates the efforts and activities of Santiam's Service Integration Team. And they do a lot of basically partnering with community resources, wrapping around families in need. And so they were in a very specific situation to help out the families that were victims of the wildfires, which she will share about today. Melissa attended the Polk County Service Integration Team since 2009, as she was the former Director of Social Services for the Salvation Army of Marion Polk County. And so she's very familiar with that program of the Service Integration Team. she's just has a heart out there helping all these needy families. She grew up in the small town of Colton, so really enjoys the small towns of the Santiam Canyon. I'm not sure which town she actually lives in. Maybe she'll tell us that. I think it may be Staten. And she enjoys, when in her off time, enjoys being a mom of 2 beautiful children, as well as hiking, rafting, barbecuing with friends and family. And Melissa also serves on the board of directors for Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action Agency, where this is where I met her and have enjoyed serving on the board with her. So we will welcome Melissa, but I also introduced Rich Duncan, who's our second presenter. That way they can just go right to the next one. Rich, many of you are familiar with. He was born and raised in Salem and is a graduate of Sprague High School. And Rich is a president and owner of Rich Duncan Construction, which he started his career in construction in 1989 and opened up the Rich Duncan Construction Company in 2001. He had a goal of providing outstanding performance in the construction industry. That year, he also married his wife, Shelley, blended a family, and built a house. A big year. Now he has 3 sons and a daughter and is a proud grandpa of 7. How fun. Rich Duncan Construction now employs a team of 35 and covers Oregon and Washington in both commercial and residential projects. Rich is the past president of Kaiser Chamber, past president of Chemeketa Foundation Board, past chair for SEDCOR Board of Directors. He's current chair of Liberty House, yay Allison, and members of both Salem and Kaiser Chambers in the National and Local Builders Associations. Most of us who were around in 2010 remember that Rich Duncan Construction was awarded the privilege to complete the first commercial build for the ABC's Extreme Makeovers, where they did a wonderful build for Oregon School of the Deaf. Rich Duncan Construction was awarded 2011 Salem Chamber Business of the Year, 2014 Salem Chamber Distinguished Service of Citizen, that I assume was for Rich himself, nationally as a Northwest Small Business of the Year in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Small Business in 2013. 8 years running, they've been the top commercial builder, voted as best of Mid-Willamette Valley. So we're very happy to have both Melissa and Rich sharing with us today. Melissa will start about her work with the families in the canyon.
Thank you, Linda, for having me. The Santiam Let's Sit began in 2017, and so we had the relationships and the trust in the community for us to just jump in and help with the wildfire relief efforts. So since the Beachy Creek fire, our team has served 1,061 unduplicated households in the canyon through our SIT operation, where we're set up right now in Sublimity at Anthony Hall. And we have a little co-location center here with several different partners and SIT staff. And so from that 1,061 households, about 550 of those households are currently displaced. Of that amount, 500 households have been utilizing our donation centers. The Knights of Columbus, who's a SIT member, has stepped in and like within a week after the fire, had donation centers set up in Sublimity and Gates, and then later Mill City and Detroit. And at those donation centers, households can get everything from household items. We have generators, heaters, pet food. It's a wide variety of services available there. And since we have had 10,500 hours of volunteer service for the relief efforts. And we could not be doing what we're doing right now without our volunteers. It's just amazing to see everybody stepping up and helping out where they can. I wanted to touch on the immediate services that are available at our SIT Sublimity location. So here is survivors have access, like everything I mentioned in the donation centers, as well as we have gas cards available. Multiple families are traveling long distances to get to their properties, to check on them, begin work on the cleanup. And then we also have families that are traveling for childcare. Some of the families' childcares were lost in the fire as well. And so, for example, we have one mom who is going all the way to Wilsonville to drop her child off for childcare, and then is coming back to Salem to work, and then back up to the canyon where she's currently staying. So we have gas cards, we have gift cards available that the community has donated. So if there's not an item available at the donation center, then we can purchase those items. For example, we've done a lot of humidifiers lately for RVs with those different gift cards we have available. We also have 3 Oregon Department of Human Services here on site in Sublimity, and we have been signing people up for food benefits, helping single moms, single dads get access to cash assistance. We've been signing people up for the Oregon Health Plan and other state benefits. And as well, we have Community Action Agency who is here on site that is helping us out with the housing efforts. So they've been taking on a lot of the payments for the first month's rent and deposits, which allows our funds to be reserved for further help with that family. And then here on site, people can get access to different navigation. Like we can help families navigate different services and get them connected to programs available to help them. So that's like our immediate needs. And then recently, I would say in November, we made an agreement to lead the efforts for case management in our area. So we've been providing disaster case management for the survivors, and what that entails is our case managers are finding appropriate housing for survivors. They're assisting them in navigating FEMA, insurance, different grant applications that are available through the state and the Wildfire Fund. They have been advocating to the Santiam Canyon Wildfire Fund when a household needs help with funding. They've been connecting households to different volunteer cleanup crews to assist with the cleanup of the property. They've been connecting survivors to mental health support and spiritual support if requested. Since the disaster case managers have been working with everyone, there's been 2 mental health support groups set up. One is an online Zoom that's being coordinated by the county. And then our SIP member, Santiam Outreach Community Center, which is part of Community Action up in Mill City, last weekend began an in-person support group for people. And that's been really helpful for our households, like our seniors who are not comfortable doing Zoom. And so we've been able to do all of this. The hospital has sought funding to hire 2 disaster case managers. One is funded privately through different grants, and the other one, the Santiam Hospital, is funding just with their general budget in hopes that the state is going to reimburse us. And then we're hoping to get 1 additional case manager. And so we have those disaster case managers, but then we have other partners on site to also help with the case management. We have 124 active households that are being case managed by those 2 case managers. And we have 96 households that are needing a first intake. And so that first intake, we call MAST. It's Multi-Agency Shelter Transition Team. And the county, FEMA, and the state are all represented in that first initial intake. And so there's 96 households still to be registered, and we're registering about 20 to 25 households a week. And that number will increase. Every week we have, we're notified of households that slip through and have not been connected to us yet. And so the households that are now being registered have a lot going on. Our case managers are spending a lot of time with them. They're households that maybe never applied for FEMA. They didn't know how. They haven't done the SBA loan. And so there's, it's just a little bit more involved. And then we've housed 51. So that's not part of our active households being case managed. So we have 51 households who have been rehoused in apartments, duplexes. We have a survivor who sold his and purchased another one. So every household's a little bit unique. And we've had some challenges and some successes. I'll just touch on some of that. Our biggest challenge is just the lack of affordable housing. In Marion County, it's less than 1% availability rate. And then with the fires that wiped out a lot of our rentals in the canyon, we're less than 1%. So there's just not housing available. And a lot of the survivors, for good reasons, want to stay in the canyon where their supports are. And so that's our biggest challenge. And we're trying to be creative. We found for example, we found a landlord who was willing to split the cost with us and make his unit ADA accessible. So we're finding ways around trying to get people housed, but it's hard. Another challenge that we're seeing is people didn't know how to apply for FEMA. They didn't know how to do the SBA, because a lot of people were told you're not going to be approved for FEMA until you fill out the SBA loan. And the SBA loan is really difficult for some households to complete. And so there's just a lot of documents that are needed that they lost in the fire as well. And that's a challenge. Families are needing IDs for these programs. They're needing Social Security cards, their award letters, their replacements of title and registration. And when they lost that in the fire, it becomes incredibly challenging for them. And a lot of families with the trauma that they're experiencing just don't move forward. And so that's where our case managers are coming in and trying to walk alongside them and assist them in completing what the forms that need to be completed to get items replaced. And we have been able to get liaisons at the different state departments. And so that happened a couple of weeks ago, which is helping us get replacements faster than we were able to attain them. And then I think the other challenge is there's households out there that we just don't know about. There's households that we find out every day are living in tents, are living in their cars. We had a mom and kid that we found out about last week that since the fire has been just driving around in her van. With all the trauma, we're just finding that some families just didn't know how to navigate. And so that is a challenge for us, is we don't know how many families are out there that have been displaced, that are living in unsuitable locations. And we're trying to locate those families the best we can. And as we find out about them, we get them in to get registered with us. And those are probably our three major challenges. We have seen some success. One of the things I feel we've really been successful in is that we had our SIP model in place prior to the wildfires. So we had those relationships built, and we've been able to really reserve a lot of the wildfire relief funds and allow those to be used for the cleanup and rebuild. So a lot of the immediate needs was taken care of, like housing and other immediate needs. Transportation, replacement of vehicles has been met through our SIP members. Community Action Agency has been paying for all of the survivors' first month's rent and deposits, along with Family Promise has been helping out with housing. We've had United Way, who has taken on the process of receiving donated vehicles and RVs, and then we select the families that those go out to. So we've had quite a few SIP members step up to where those wildfire relief funds that have come in are able to be reserved for future. We've had an awesome co-location site built here in Sublimity with people donating modulars for us, the county supplying a modular, and we have 4 other modulars out in the parking lot where our other programs can be housed. We have a total of 13 FTEs on site that include employees from SIT, Santiam Hospital, Community Action, Marion County Department of Human Services, And Marion Polk Food Share is having a full-time representative join us next week. So another major success is just the community involvement. We've had volunteers that have stepped in from everywhere. We've had items that have been donated across the US. We've had people come in with semis, like in the very beginning. It's just been an outpouring of support. And we've been able, like families that have not been able to get approved, for, like they were denied by FEMA for one reason or another. We have been working with United Way to get them RVs, to get them their vehicles replaced. And we've been working on getting them housed through other SIP members. So that is, I think, everything that I wanted to cover. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Well, it's hard to follow that. That's a lot of work that's going on up there. It's pretty amazing, you know, when a bunch of people lean in and what we can accomplish with everybody just doing a little bit. So how I'm involved in a project up there, I go back a little bit of history, been involved with SEDCOR. People know SEDCOR here in Salem as an economic development conduit. And back in 2008, I believe, the group came together and formed the Construction Alliance. The Construction Alliance in the beginning was a goal, because the economy was kind of hard on contractors, was to find a viable way that maybe we can share tips and techniques. Maybe we can do bulk purchasing. What would come of that? Just so we could really survive in the marketplace back then. It developed into more of an educational move, where we were helping train kids and kind of backfilling our industry. And then 2010, I got that knock on the door about the Extreme Makeover Project. And I went to the group and said, listen, I've got this opportunity. I need some help leaning in. And we all kind of leaned in. And I want to say our company was kind of in the front of that, but it really was the whole organization of the Construction Alliance, this group of people in the industry that made that happen. And a little history, you know, again on that, we had from the day that I got the call to ask if I would do the project to the day we started in 42 days. In the 40, there was no permits, no plans. There was, I mean, it was just a piece of dirt and an idea. And we were able to accomplish building that, the dorm. And then also we actually had 2 builds for them, because we remodeled the haunted house as well. So we built a new building, a haunted house on state property, and we did it in 142 hours. And that taught us lean vertical construction, taught us working together. I mean, the benefits for this community, there was over 5,000 volunteers and coordinating all those people. Big shout out to Mary Vanetta and her team back then. She was like one of my first calls to say, hey, I'm gonna need help with public relations and volunteers. And we were able to really do something as a community that meant a lot. And it came at a time, I think, back then, that in 2010, people were looking for a kind of that lift up out of kind of the economy and wanted something positive to happen. And it did. It really changed a lot of people's lives. And so that same group then has had other opportunities throughout the years. We went out to Mount Angel Community Center, or community building, and we built the Fest Hall. Was a project that we all leaned in and got done. We worked on, there's out at Oregon Garden, we built a kind of an outdoor pavilion for the kids and the students to work out there. So seemingly we've had these projects, and then the fires happen, right? Up in the canyon. And I'm up at the canyon, taken out. I was one of the lucky, fortunate ones that kind of, I think the only one in the RV park there by Canes that was able to tow my trailer out of there. And I was talking to a bunch of community members about, you know, what's next and how we're going to move forward. And a comment was made about a piece of property that where the city would want to move someday. have a community center, and that this gentleman was possibly thinking about donating the property. So, you know, I drive off the mountain and think about that for a day or two, and then we got a few of the SEDCOR group together, and I kind of pitched this idea, let's go up and build a community center for Detroit, with the idea, again, that Detroit is a very big economic driver for all of the canyon. I mean, without the recreation in the city and the infrastructure up there, then there's really no economic driver that's going to drive up the canyon and get people back to success and living back to normal. So we all nodded our head and said, let's do this. And so moving forward, we were able to have a couple meetings and get some people together and get a hold of the property owner and get an agreement that he's going to donate this property. And the city's been, not the city, but there's a Detroit Foundation that's been looking at this property for many years to come up with a way to have it a community center. And so the Detroit Lake Foundation agreed to, you know, kind of help manage the project. And then we agreed to build this building and do an addition and remodel. So right now we've got just I really am kind of amazed at how many people want to step up and participate. We're super full. I'm going to share on my screen here the website. Again, Mary Van Atta and her group has helped us get this put together. And so we're moving forward. You can volunteer, you can get on and donate product towards the building. We just kind of got this started, so we've got a forum in there. You can get updates on how our construction's going. We're going to put the plans on here pretty quick. So we're just working through that process. And it's been just, again, I think we're at a time right now where everybody wants just something positive and something to happen. The particular property didn't have any fire exposure. It was right, I mean, it had fire all the way around it, but didn't get burned. And there's an existing old high school gym that is still on the property that we're gonna fix into a community center. And so it allows us to kind of escalate the process and not have to wait for clearing the property or, you know, DEQ or anything. We can just move right ahead. And so we don't have a lot of the stumbling blocks that other people have, but it's going to allow us to get up there and get this place where people can go and meet and again, seek support. And I think will be a big help to Melissa and her group for, you know, being an anchor for the people up at Detroit, and certainly some kids and families that are trying to relocate and get back up there. So I got to, you know, again, big shout out to all the people that, you know, from the chief and the Marion County to everybody that's been involved up there. It's a pretty big undertaking. And so we're just kind of proud that the community is going to come together and have fun and do something, you know, really fun. So we already have quite a few people already leaning in, and we'll be able to promote those people. And it's just going to be a great experience. We hope to get started here real quick. And we're working out a couple paperwork details, but we should be, our goal anyway is to probably have the community center open by Labor Day so we can have a little barbecue. And I'll end there.
Thank you, Rich. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My neighbor's cutting his tree down, and I have a motor in my backyard right now. So Rich and Melissa, we really appreciate not just you joining us here today, but truly how you're rallying the community around the Salem and Santiam Canyon area to really make a difference for these families that have been so struck with so many challenges. So thank you so much for your important work, and those that are working with you, please send them our best. In honor of both of you, we will be donating to our very own Salem Rotary Foundation a gift in your honor, and the dollars raised through our foundation go back into our community to support children and families. So just exactly what you're doing right now. So again, thank you so much. Very well done. Thank you. Next week's meeting is our own Chuck Swank. He's going to speak to the ins and outs of our finances. So it's going to be exciting, everybody. So be ready and bring your notebook and lots of questions. It's going to be a really good presentation. I want to thank, I know I'm going to miss somebody. I walked away when the weed eater started in my backyard. I want to thank Julio, Brody, Andy Pickett, Julio's wrestling coach, Carla, Mary, and again, our speakers for joining us here today. And I wish you all the very best, and get outside and enjoy the sunshine before the snow starts in a day or two, right? So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.